In the last lecture, we added authentication to our solution. We installed some packages and we also injected authentication into the services collection, and we told on what basis we will authenticate our token as well. So having done that, we will now introduce authentication to our controllers and will block it from the unauthenticated users. For that, let's come to Solution Explorer and open one of the controllers that we have. Let's open the regions controller. And the regions controller at the moment is public. Anybody who has the URL can access it, but we don't want to do that. We want to have only authenticated and authorized users access this resource. So we will make use of the authorize attribute to block unauthenticated users. So as an attribute, I will say authorize, and this comes from Microsoft.ASPNET CORE.authorization package. So make sure you have that in the using statement over here. Now we have added the authorize attribute to the whole regions controller class. So any method inside this class has to be accessed through a authenticated user, and it basically is telling any public or anonymous users that you cannot access this resource. So to test it out, I will run the application and see what we get if we try to access this resource now. Our API is running, and because we authenticated or blocked the regions controller, let's just use any method inside the regions controller and see what happens. If I try it out and execute, the result comes back really quickly, and the response was a 401 code, and it says error unauthorized. And this, in a RESTful world, 401 means that you are an unauthorized user and you do not have access to use this resource. So by giving a 401 back, we are telling the client that you cannot use this resource. If the client wants to use this resource now, they would have to generate a token. And that's the JWT token along with the correct credentials of the key, the issuer and the audience. So all of that, it has to be correct in order for us to authenticate that user. And first we will authenticate the user using a username and login, and after that we will be able to generate a token for you. Using that token, you can then use this resource. So for the next few lectures, we will go on and create some users first, and using those user credentials, the username and password, we will see if it's a known user. If the username and password matches, we will then generate you a token, and using that token, you can then come over here and access this resource. So that's how JWT authentication works, and in the next few lectures we will go on and add or register users inside our application.